Hello world, welcome to TechTacToe, the podcast of tech talk.
For everyday people.
Hi, as you already know, I'm Iyanu and
I am Dami.
And welcome to another podcast episode. So, there's been so much that's happened in the past 2 weeks. Like, honestly, it's been insane just how much news has happened, like, in tech.
Yeah, I am both happy and sad at the same time.
Okay.
And sad because right now is kind of like the best opportunity for you to have made a lot of money if you've been following tech like closely. And
Right.
I missed out of the Bitcoin craze.
Okay.
Now I'm missing out of this phase as well that a lot of people seem to have gotten insights into like investing. Companies are like IPOing and like all of that.
Yeah, definitely. Not just even IPOs. There have been some really insane market movements.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether you heard about SanDisk. You know SanDisk now?
Yeah,
the SD
yeah.
card, the SSD manufacturer and everything. Would you believe that in the past, I believe 1 year, SanDisk stock
Has grown so much.
increased by over 4,000%?
Wow. Talking about like quiet moves.
It was such a quiet move, like so on the G, like almost nobody knew about
Who invested in SanDisk?
Who invested? Exactly, like exactly. It's ridiculous. So if you had put like 1,000, let's say pounds, dollars, whatever in SanDisk at that time,
Wow.
you'd literally be swimming in moolah right now.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So it's incredible, like the moves that have been happening. We're going to talk about IPOs. Obviously, the major one that happened in the past week was SpaceX's IPO. Besides that, we also have some other IPO news and stuff for you guys. OpenAI is planning on doing an IPO.
Yeah.
Right. There are also rumblings of Anthropic doing an IPO like later down the line. But then we're also going to talk about WWDC, which is Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference that also happened like recently. And we also have some other news like friction that's happening in Meta as well.
Of course, Meta is always having friction.
Meta is always having friction, right?
It's crazy.
All right, and without further ado, let's hop right into like the SpaceX news. I mean, obviously that's like the major one that happened in the past week, literally. SpaceX, for anyone that's been living under a rock, recently IPO'd. And the IPO price per share was about $135 per share, which was incredibly high. A lot of investors believe that, or rather, a lot of analysts believe that it was like an incredibly overvalued price, especially considering like SpaceX's revenues right now. But a lot of people also argue that the stock price is actually befitting in when you think about, let's say, the potential
level
growth, like of the company, right? Well, I'd say that's an interesting way to look at it, because are we just going to start ignoring like market fundamentals and like hard numbers for future? I mean, sure, growth is very important, right? But growth is speculative. Have we reached the point where speculation is more important than actual hard figures? That's something that I find like a very interesting conversation to have. I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely numbers talk for themselves. So even if you're speculating, you can say it's overpriced, it's not overpriced. I'm sorry, the IPO already happened. There is nothing you can do about it at this point. And the way that I see it, I find it's more or less like just maybe investing in the potential, because SpaceX is doing so much already, and the growth will keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So aside from that, I think the company is really like experimenting like a whole lot. I mean, to be fair, the internet service part of it, that has been something that's really gotten like a lot of growth, like worldwide. Yeah, Starlink literally is accessible in even like the most remote of cities, like around the world. So I think like the growth is there. Maybe they're not really looking at the whole thing like subjectively, because I find it's not overpriced in my opinion. That's the way that I think about it. But what I do like have a grudge regarding is the fact that Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. As of this moment, based off of this IPO. Congrats, Elon. Hi. If you would be so kind to send, I'm not asking for too much, maybe there's like 100,000 pounds as a strong supporter of your venture. We've spoken about SpaceX and X itself. See what I did there? I'm calling it X, not Twitter.
Not Twitter.
Not Twitter.
Not Twitter. This might be the first time I've heard you call Twitter X, Dami. Like, what's going on?
I'm not pandering. I'm not pandering at all. But yeah, Mr. Musk, if you'd be so kind to, I don't know, support it in some way. But yeah, Elon is like the world's first trillionaire, and people are going crazy about this on social media.
Who would have thought we'd have a trillionaire in our lifetime? Is this something that you could have predicted?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you see the way the numbers still work. It's like you get to a certain comma status and you realize that there's still numbers going on, because after a trillionaire, you still have like a gazillionaire. Yeah. What if we have a gazillionaire in this lifetime?
Let's not get ahead.
Because that was the first thing that I thought about. We have like a lot of dollar millionaires already. And I was like, okay, you know what, that's interesting. But then after a millionaire, you have like billionaire. So Elon being like a trillionaire, that is just crazy. Like, that is a lot of what for like a person, and it's fascinating at the same time, just like confusing. Would you say he has earned it? Yes, to be very honest, because he's a strong pioneer in tech, and I mean, he's been like a strong investor. He was part of the people that pioneered PayPal when PayPal first came out. I mean, buying Twitter was a very strong move, and a lot of people would say like, oh, they don't like the fact that Twitter looks so monetized like right now, but look at what it's done for like his worth. Yeah,
to be honest, if anyone says that Elon Musk doesn't deserve his current network, I feel like that's just a person being disingenuous, to be honest, right? Because Elon Musk is an innovator, like you said. He's also like a risk taker. He's taking so many risks that any sane person would almost never take, right? For example, like after he founded, obviously was one of the founders of PayPal. Like when they had the sale of PayPal, he made a few millions from that. But then he immediately channeled all his money into Tesla. Literally. Tesla and SpaceX, right? And if either of those companies failed, like, man could have potentially been bankrupt, right?
True.
He literally risked it all, right? And he's just had a lot of big bets that almost nobody would think of making. Again, SpaceX at the time, would anybody have believed that a private company could be the world's leader in space travel? No, I mean, almost nobody would have expected that, because until SpaceX kind of like came along, the only major players were government,
the NASA
organizations. Obviously, the USA with NASA, Russia with the space agency, right? That was like literally it, right? And then also when you think about cars as well, before Tesla came along, there were so many incumbents already. Like, who would have thought that a small company, like at the time anyway, Tesla is a massive company now, by the time a small company like Tesla could one day become like the most valuable automobile maker in the world, right? Again, that's something that was completely ridiculous, completely unheard of.
True.
And he definitely deserves it. Whether it is necessarily fair for the rest of the society.
What do you mean the rest of the society?
Another conversation. I mean, by that I mean like there's this conversation to be heard about like wealth inequality in society, and that's why I'm kind of like because there's still a lot of poverty is still a huge problem. Like,
it's the rich. Right? That's what Jan is trying to say. No. At what point do we start eating the rich?
No, I'm like, and the whole eat the rich conversation is like very interesting, right? Like, the wealth gap is like increasing at this point, right? Definitely, I don't think anyone should eat the rich or anything like that, but governments should think about ways to actually address and address the wealth gap and ensure that resources are evenly distributed across the society, right? What do you think?
The unpopular opinion that I have is regarding taxes, because I think as an employee, that is where it touches me the most. And it sounds like a bit disingenuous just because, I mean, you have like bands to these things. And if you earn like a certain amount, you get taxed a certain percent. If you earn below a certain amount, you don't get taxed at all. I really don't know at what point like we draw the line, because to me, I find it's like taxes, the concept is quite interesting. In the case of Elon being a trillionaire, and for every billionaire and every millionaire out there, I my I think they should be paying more taxes. I think they should be paying taxes. The rest of us should not be paying taxes at all. And this is like a controversial opinion, but I just think about the government does not need my money. The government literally doesn't need I don't know, the £500 that I am paying on a monthly basis to do anything. They should focus on the rich people. Okay. So in that case, we're not eating the rich, but the rich are definitely doing more to society than we are. Because I don't know, there's some rich people that don't even do like charity or like donate money or anything. Like they're not investing in education. They're not investing in things that is like driving societal impact. So in that case, yeah, I get it. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. If the average millionaire comes to tell me like, oh, I worked out for my money, so I want to do with it whatever I want to. Fair enough. Yeah, you have the right to do that. But I don't know. Society still has like the demand for things that would make things better. Because at the end of it, all I ask is, where do they get the money from? I know that sounds like a silly question to like ask. Because, okay, with every single car, with every single Tesla that is being sold, that in some way still ends up getting to Elon's pocket, like somehow. And fair enough, yeah, it's a company, you run a company, you're expected to like make profit, and when you make profit as the founder, you get paid like some money and whatnot, but the money is coming from the pocket of like the average person. And I don't know, like the math seems a bit weird now that I'm talking about it. There has to be a way to like redistribute wealth. That's just the summary of the short rant that I went on, and it shouldn't be coming off from taxes of regular everyday people's like salaries, especially if you're earning money that is like, I don't know, lower than 100K. Like, trust me, the amount of money you're being taxed it's not doing anything. So it's like this is such a complex question, like how exactly should taxation be approached? I feel to an extent the current taxation mechanisms in place and policies are archaic, to be honest, right? The world has drastically changed so much, and the world is continuously changing, right? Again, we're at the point where we now have like first trillionaire, right? I think with progressions like this, tax policies should be adjusted as necessary, right? We can't just take like tax policies that were implemented decades ago, right, as kind of like what's going to take us and the society into the future to ensure sustenance. I don't think that's kind of like the way to go. So I do agree with you that we have to like the governments have to obviously think from the ground up on how to make everything more fair and equal to everyone. Definitely.
Anyway, back to SpaceX. Some other important stuff about SpaceX. Along with the IPO, they raised about $75 billion in money funds. Right,
Yay!
IPO. And also SpaceX itself is now worth over or valued over $2 trillion, which is, again, mind-boggling number.
I think what makes me happy, sorry to cut, it's just like the employees that were like also the winners in this IPO thing, because aside from Elon like becoming the first trillionaire, about 4,000 employees also became millionaires overnight. That is mind-blowing and interesting. We should also tax them. Unfortunately, because your circumstances changed, but literally, I think it's a good thing. This goes back to, I think, a conversation we've had before, the old dynamic of like staying in a company and building with them. If you have like good support of the vision, the reward definitely comes into play in this case, because you can see for the employees that got like early stocks or something, obviously the reward is coming in the form of them becoming like millionaires, which is like good. But I just wonder like the amount of work, effort and everything they must have put into working.
Definitely.
To get to that point.
Definitely. And especially considering how Elon Musk typically runs his companies. Like, it's a very tight ship. a lot of people have described his companies as kind of like grueling work environments as well, where people pull late nighters on a steady and so on and so forth. So yeah.
And so much changes so fast.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next up, Anthropic. Yeah, their safety warnings on AI seem to have backfired recently.
Who is surprised, really, because the issue they had with the Department of Defense was early this year.
Yeah.
And right now, they launched a new version of their model called Fable just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And Fable has been pretty much like blacklisted.
Yeah,
and
definitely. Fable is, for our audience, their Fable model is a safer version, effectively a safer version of their Mythos model that we discussed some weeks back. Basically, highly powerful, highly proficient model that's extremely good at software, cybersecurity, hacking, all that kind of stuff, right? The idea is that they added a lot of safety, kind of like controls in place, right, into Fable to make it like a lot safer to release to the public.
Yeah.
But then apparently
not safe enough.
Not apparently. Apparently Amazon, or I think it was Amazon.
No, I think the snitches. Amazon, I rate it. I actually do rate it. It's like the competition for AI is so strong right now.
Yeah.
Whoever gets to the finish line, I would think innovation is enough. But this game that Amazon pulled, I actually love it. It's like if you cannot invent it, block the other person. Block the other person from launching it. But what Amazon essentially did, so they actually raised the concern about Fable when it launched, in sense that some of the Amazon researchers used Fable comprehensively, and they were actually able to use it to obtain information that could be used for cyber attacks. And that is scary. I mean, I don't know why they did that, because for you to get your researchers, they must have done a lot of digging, a lot of tests, just trying to break the model, and they succeeded. So in this case, Anthropic is rolling back Fable. The US especially, they put in their feet down, if Fable is susceptible to cyber attacks, then just anybody, even people outside of the US, we know the other countries that don't like the US, if they get a hold of Fable, they could literally potentially use it to attack the US.
Yeah, so the USA effectively, after, like you said, Amazon reached out to the US government and everything, the USA effectively, or the government effectively told Anthropic that they are not permitted to give any non-US national access to Fable, right? And considering that Anthropic operates on a global scale with millions of customers worldwide, effectively there is it's to be extremely difficult for them to try to actually employ checks that verify that whoever is using Fable is actually a US citizen, right? I mean, that would be a Herculean task to do, right? Well, how would they even approach that, right?
Yeah.
Would they mandate all their users submit ID documents if they want to get access to Fable? I mean, so it was pretty much a non-starter from Anthropic's end. So with that in mind, they ended up just disabling Fable in the interim as they try to figure this out. Right?
Funny enough, I did see it because I got the notification when it went live on my app saying I should try it until June 22nd. But honestly, Fable is supposed to use, I think, about 4.5 times more credit than Sonnet. And at the level that I was using Opus, that was even 2.4 more than Sonnet. That is a lot of credit limits. I'm not sure how much of that Anthropic factored into this model before they launched it, because really it's going to be running up the credits. That was what I personally had against this, because it's just that's a lot of credit to use up. But also, like you mentioned, if they are going to be putting in that barrier for people from other countries, how is that fair to users that are paying customers. Because I would think if I was paying for like a product, I should have like access to use it in the same way that people in other countries have access to use it, unless, I don't know, you're giving me a discount or something. Because what does that mean?
Yeah.
If the US folks are using Fable, I'm not using it because like I stay in the UK. How is that fair to me? Like, and we're paying the same amount to access the service. So I think it's a really smart move on their end while they figure out what they can do to maybe make it like more tight security wise, or I don't know.
Do you think the move by the US government was necessary or it was heavy-handed?
I mean, the US has always had it for Anthropic, to be honest. It's the old dilemma that happened like earlier in the year. The way that I see it, it's just like the control element. I think I mentioned this before. The bigger the AI grows, the more governments will want to like put a limit on how much companies are able to do. Fair enough, OpenAI is already pals with the US government. Good for them. I respect Anthropic for standing their ground, but I think it will keep getting like stricter until it gets to a point where the government has a say over certain actions that the companies can actually do, which just feels a bit weird in my opinion, because the companies are set up and running in a way where users can trust, like, okay, I can use this product, but I know my data is safe. If the US government is stepping in that case, they could literally request Anthropic to provide them access to like different things that maybe users will ideally not want to provide or just like show them in that case. So it's a bit like concerning the way that I see it. At this point, the US government might as well just build their own AI system so they can leave these companies alone.
I guess the question is, why would the government invest hundreds of billions building and training their own AI models?
Yeah, when it's existing.
They already have companies that will do it either way without their intervention.
I get that, but I mean, again, I'm not going to use the products that I know the government has access to. That's just the truth. I'm not because like, oh, I'm doing like anything sneaky or whatever it is like on the internet, but it's personal stuff, literally. I'm sorry, I put in like, I don't know, cars details, or I'm asking AI like, oh, look at this offer, does this look good, should I apply for this, or something along that line. I mean, I don't want that information accessible to just anybody if they need to like take a look at it. That's just like the way that I see it, in my opinion. So it could be like it's good to save them money, but at the core of it, I don't know. I just think like there has to be that limit.
Yeah,
there really has to be.
I think besides just the implications on companies themselves in terms of government oversight, there are also a number of implications on other governments as well. Right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, many governments, after Anthropic released Fable, like government researchers in, for example, the UK, right, finally got access. Before Fable was released, I don't think they had access to it, right, as it's reportedly. But then after Fable got released, they finally had access to actually test the capabilities of Fable. And then literally shortly after, the US government
pulled it off.
Yeah, pulled it off, right? So now governments in Europe, the UK as well,
they don't even know the capabilities.
Exactly.
Like,
so it's also like, when you look at it from the perspective of other governments as well, I feel like this situation serves as like an example of just how important it is for governments themselves to actually strive to build out their own AI.
True.
It doesn't have to be the governments themselves to build it, but also creates like a nurturing environment within your country that actually helps private organizations build out these systems as well. I mean, if it's giving them access to government loans or loan-free investments as well, like, I think that would be a great thing that governments could do, because it's also in the national interest of other countries, right? Try considering like these systems down the line, definitely potentially will be used for warfare, for example.
Of course.
I can not imagine that the US government would permit any government.
No way in hell. Also, do you find it interesting, like, most of the, if not all, the AI companies are like domiciled in the US.
Majority of them.
Yeah.
The USA and China.
Literally, because I just think about it, and it seems like the US has like quite a number of them. Talking about like, I mean, Google is headquartered in the US anyway. You have Anthropic, you have OpenAI as well in the US. So it feels like a bit they have more.
The Google situation
power.
is very interesting as well, because Google's AI lab, DeepMind, fun fact, was actually founded in the UK. Google DeepMind was actually a UK company at the very onset, but Google saw the potential in it and
then they moved to
and bought DeepMind, right? Which is very fascinating to me, because I mean, if the UK government knew in advance, like, I mean, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like to believe that if the UK government knew just how important DeepMind would potentially be in the future, especially considering like Google now has through DeepMind has released and trained models like Gemini and so on. Would the UK government have permitted, for example, the purchase of DeepMind from Google?
Yeah.
Right, in the first place, maybe not. Right, who knows? Right.
I find that the UK is generally like late to things when it comes to like technology advancement, and the UK markets can tend to be like a slow adopter. Case in point, like buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later is massive in the US.
Yeah.
Within the UK, the market is not that big. I mean, there's a whole lot of regulation around it for good reason, to be honest, just because credit system is one that is like very tricky. But it's such a market that is like huge in the US. AI as well, it still feels like it's early days for AI in the UK. I haven't really seen like any major company that is UK based that is doing something that is related to like AI.
Yeah. Anyway, very interesting. Also in the news, Meta is experiencing internal turmoil at the moment, particularly in terms of their AI teams and labs, right?
Nobody's surprised as well regarding this, just because, I mean, the employees literally went to sleep, woke up the next day, and they found out like they've been moved to the AI team, and it was a thing of you either stay and work or you lose your job.
Yeah.
So it gets to a limit, in my opinion, where what if you don't want to do anything in AI as an employee? Did you have like a choice in the matter, or it was just something that was like enforced on you?
Yep.
But I mean, tell us more about it. The juicy part was about the town hall.
The town hall, basically, where Meta, like a presenter in Meta was talking like with the rest of the company in the town hall, and an employee interrupted him and basically said that the presenter should tell a senior executive that he is a just so we don't get
censored off
YouTube. Anyway, he basically said a bunch of like some swear words towards the senior executive, right? Literally in a public town.
Oh my goodness!
Which was insane, right? Like it just shows like for an employee to get to that point.
No, that employee had it up to here.
The person has had it up to here, literally, right? Like it's like he doesn't care anymore. He doesn't send, right? Do whatever you want, right? I just want to be heard, right? And yeah, I mean, anyone could have seen this coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Literally. The way employees over there have been treated, completely terrible. It's like, it's just bad, right? So, it seems like they've had enough. Let's see how this ends up playing out. I don't think that it would be easy for Meta to address the situation at this point, right? Because I feel like it's kind of like getting to the point where it's the Hunger Games in Meta.
Meta right now, true. I agree. And to run through WWDC quickly, there hasn't been a whole lot of innovative announcements. AI.
Siri AI.
Yeah. I told you Apple Intelligence was going to get like a rebrand in some way. Yeah. But it's not like there's any major upgrade. Mostly just small differences across Safari, messages, mail, photos.
Yeah. So basically, the main thing is Apple is finally coming good with its promises of an enhanced, advanced Siri that actually knows like the has full context of the users and can actually help them be useful and everything like that. Yeah. Which is fine and dandy, but this is something we're promised since like the Apple iPhone 16.
True.
Speaking of, apparently the iPhone 16 is not going to get these new features, which is very interesting.
I beg your pardon?
Especially considering that the iPhone 16 was advertised as the AI phone. So, yeah, like that feels like a huge rug pull to me. Like, imagine someone bought the iPhone 16 hoping that they will get the best and finest of Siri, and they just realize and discover that they're not actually going to get any of that stuff. I definitely see lawsuits coming up.
True. You know, this is so funny because I think I agree with something you've mentioned before, which is Apple is struggling so much to catch up like in this AI race. And I find like at this point they might as well just like give up because Siri is like being heavily criticized. This Apple intelligence is not really competing on the same level with, I don't know, technology like ChatGPT, Anthropic and co, like Gemini, and I think they still even want to like build this whole AI thing based on support.
Yeah. They actually, to build out Siri AI, they actually had to work with kind of like Google, and they are using like Gemini models, right? Like Google-based models, like for Siri AI, which is very interesting again because a lot of people are asking the question, why couldn't Apple build their own models to power Siri AI, right? That's
what we keep asking. Anyway, long or short for you listeners, there is nothing significant that has been announced in the WWDC. I'm so sorry. If you're expecting something great, what you're getting is Siri AI and Liquid Glass redesign.
Yeah, updates to Liquid
and
Glass.
Just like,
and new OS versions. I think there's WatchOS 27. I think iPadOS 27 too was announced. Just updates here.
Yeah, so not much on that.
Yeah.
And OpenAI will be filing for an IPO as well in the US, and this is like estimated for about $1 trillion.
Yeah, they're targeting a $1 trillion valuation as well. Right. There are also rumors that Anthropic are working towards an IPO as well. OpenAI reportedly privately filed the IPO application, right? I think Anthropic may have done that as well.
Yeah,
we'd have to confirm, but yeah. So we're gonna see a few more. Anthropic too is like rumored to be valuing to end up valuing at around like $1 trillion thereabouts.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a lot of blockbuster mega IPOs like lined up for the year, which is cool.
I think for OpenAI, it's expected. They're kind of like at that point right now because, I mean, they have like 900 million weekly users globally, and they're making like about $2 billion in revenue monthly. So this could potentially be maybe larger than Anthropic IPO.
Maybe
think I'm just waiting to see what happens when both of them eventually get to that point and they announce it. The numbers would be something that would be very interesting to like actually get into. But yeah, written for both Anthropic and OpenAI. That's something to like look out for.
Awesome.
And lastly, on the African tech scene, Flutterwave is looking to get into blockchain. I find that's like very interesting because it seems like it's opening the doors for the cross-border, would I say payment structure, but given that Nigeria doesn't exactly allow blockchain or cryptocurrency like right now, I don't understand how that's going to be. So are they going to like limit it to external people outside of Nigeria to do that?
Well, maybe they're also targeting like Africa generally, maybe not necessarily Nigeria alone.
Right? That would be like a bold move for them. I find Flutterwave has been making like a lot of major moves like this year actually. I mean, since becoming licensed to run a bank now, and this blockchain move could actually solidify their stance as being the most innovative like fintech company coming out of Africa. So fingers crossed on that. We'll share more as it develops, but generally that's what Flutterwave has been up to. Exciting.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Quickly, let's do a round of predictions, Dami.
Okay.
Do you have any predictions on any of the news that we reported today?
I don't know, apart from the fact that OpenAI and Anthropic are going to make a lot of money.
Okay.
Definitely going to make a lot of money. That one I am certain about. I don't know. Meta may be doing more layoffs. I think
mean, they're
that
always
will
doing
be
layoffs.
that's gonna be like like one prediction that might be inevitable.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Just those two. What about you?
Yes, so I have one prediction. My prediction is within the next 2 years, the US government will try to get stake in the major AI companies in the USA.
Get a stake in what sense?
Like
Become board
ownership.
members.
Yeah, get ownership in them. I can see them trying to get like part ownership so that they can be in the table or in the decision making
Yeah.
right? When like e.g. like this Anthropic or OpenAI is planning on releasing a new model.
Yeah.
And so also having ownership might give them some kind of veto power,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
As well. I mean, they already technically have veto power in terms of export controls effectively, but people might look at that as very heavy-handed. So if they were actually at the table making the decisions, that would be a lot more publicly acceptable as well.
Yeah.
And also just because the US government under Trump kind of likes money as well. So
Sure.
yeah, I can see this happening. So that's my prediction. I think that will happen in the next 2 years.
I wouldn't pass it past them. Like, I actually would not put it past them. So it might happen maybe even sooner, before the end of this year. You can never tell. With the move they're making like right now with Anthropic, I wouldn't be surprised like if that happens before the end of the year. But anyway, let us know what your own prediction is based off of the news we discussed on this episode. Also, if you have like any general prediction, drop a comment or literally just shoot us an email to discuss some more.
Yeah.
And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave comments. We love to read your comments, hear from you. If you're not following us on social media, you can follow us everywhere.
At TechTacToe Pod.
And if you want to shoot us an email,
you can reach us at hello@techtactoe.live.
Thank you for listening to the TechTacToe episode, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Peace.